In this video, we're going to look at the 5 tips on how to answer multiple choice questions in examinations. If you stay and watch until the end, I'm going to give you the 6th bonus tip on how to do so. Remember to subscribe to the channel, Physics Tips for Cambridge Students YouTube channel, and remember to hit the notification bell so that you get alerted of my future videos. And without much further ado, let's get started. Now, the first tip, so you need to start off with topical MCQ questions. MCQ just means multiple choice questions, and then yearly papers. So this is during the preparation stage. As you are preparing for the final exam, the multiple choice, you should start by looking at topical questions, that is, those MCQ questions that are arranged in topics. And then say physical quantities and units. So you exhaust all the questions if you do so. Now, the right website for this is GCE Guide. So GCE Guide is the website of choice where you can get these past papers. And then you can also get from Maths and Physics Tutor. Maths and Physics Tutor. So these are websites that you can get these topical past papers. And then you find that later on, if you do the yearly past papers, then you are going to find out that you would have met some of the questions that you would have done during the topical ones. So first, do the topics. So as you revise a topic, you do past papers around that in the multiple choice section. And then you do the yearly papers, starting from the 2016 for this syllabus until present. Okay, so make sure you do that. This is during the preparation stage. Now, tip number 2, don't be distracted. That's now in the exam room. As you get there, I remember to watch the other videos on how to behave yourself or conduct yourself in an exam room. Those tips, this tip number 2 follows from there, which is now saying do not be distracted by other answer options that are present. So if you have resolved and said, this is my answer, please do not be distracted by others. You should then be satisfied with your answer and then shade it. Okay, so be satisfied. And then you shade. If the answer is not listed, please try again. Okay. If the answer is not listed, try again. Then tip number 3, you should eliminate the obviously wrong answers. Because say you've got say you've got your A, B, C, and D. Usually, the answer would be between options A and B or between options C and D. So obviously, if you eliminate C and D, you'll be left with A and B. And one of the answers, one A or B, would be correct. So the probability of it being A, B, C, or D is 25%, which is 0.25, because these are 4 options. So which means that if you reduce it, then you are left with either A or B or either C or D, and then you choose the one that you think would be the most appropriate in answering the questions. Usually the AS physics multiple choice questions will be so close, the answers will be so close to each other, so sometimes you just need a little of common sense to apply. I think I'll do another video on how to choose. I'll give you 2 options that will be very close to each other, and then I'll show you how to then say this is the correct answer afterwards. Now, tip number 4, you can use what's called the hit and trail method. So in this method, you substitute the answers that are in the question. So you need to substitute. So you substitute, you look at all the options A, B, C, and D, and then you take the answer that's at A, you put it in the formula that will be given in the question and see whether it's going to give you that answer. Then if it's not, then move on to B, move on to C, and then lastly D. Of the 4, you would find that one of them would be the correct one. So you can solve it that way, the hit and trail method, especially for those that you be in doubt with. Now, tip number 5, you mustn't leave any answer blank. I always emphasize this. There is no negative marking in multiple choice at this stage. So, which means that you should not leave any blank. Okay. So you should shade every question. Every answer option must be shaded, please. So no leaving of blanks. You may, because the probability of you guessing the correct answer, like I said, is 25%. So you could get it correct. So after you've tried all the options and then you've seen that still you cannot get a clue to get the answer, you should just make a smart or a wild guess. Now that you've watched until this time, I am going to review my 6th bonus tip. Now, in this multiple choice exam, you should always be yourself, okay? You should answer according to your own style, okay? So be yourself and answer according to your own style. So what do I mean? Suppose you encounter problems on number 10, number 11, number 12, you could leave this blank and then come back later, and then you shade. But make sure that at the end of the exam, all these that you have left blank would have been shaded. Okay, so answer according to style. So you could say maybe the easy ones first, the low-hanging fruits first, and then the hard ones would then come later. So, but be careful that you shade the correct answer on the answer sheet again, because the problem with leaving blanks, you then tend to shade the wrong answer on number 13. You then go and shade on number 10 or 11. So make sure that the one that you are now shading after you've left the blanks is the correct one. So don't make that mistake. Very, very important. I'm also going to give you another bonus tip for being for watching until this time. Again, don't spend too much time on one question. Move to the next question. Okay, so you should move to the next question if a question is proving to be difficult, and then come back later. So come back later, but make sure that at the end of the exam you should have shaded all those blanks that you'd have left. And I'm going to wish you the best in your exam and give it your best. Right, so going through the tips again. So you go through to topical MCQ questions and then yearly past papers. Don't be distracted by other answer options. Make sure that the one that you've decided on that is the correct one, you shade it. Eliminate the obviously wrong answers. Hit and trail method. Do not leave any answer blank. And then the bonus tip, be yourself, answer according to your style, as well as not to spend too much time on each question. Right, so please subscribe to the channel, Physics Tips for Cambridge Students, and hit the notification bell and share this video to as many candidates that you think would benefit from it. Right, signing out.